My name is Bassam Barakat. I'm networking student at Polytechnic. This is my first video for my project for my operating system as a platform. In this video, I'm going to tell about my selection and why I selected that system, and I will show you some diagrams of logical point of view and deployment point of view and many other things. So let's start. First thing, what is Desktop Central? Desktop Central is application which is web-based or desktop application, or even we can use it on mobile. It is administrator with software which help administrators to to manage endpoint users from central point as configuration from one point, adding or removing applications from end devices. These are some features or some services provided by Central Desktop Central: path management, software deployment, asset management, and others. Central end is supported on Windows, Apple, Linux, even mobile devices such as Apple, Windows, and Android. These are highlighted features of Central and path management, which is automated patching between Windows, Mac, Linux, and third applications. Software deployments. In this, we can install or uninstall applications from users' ends, from computers, virtually or remotely, and configuration, tools, and imaging OS deployments, and many others. So, how Manage Engine Central will help our business? So, first thing, it doesn't require hard training, or it doesn't require full training of something. And this and Central ensures that network administrator and reduce workload. So it doesn't need many administrators like a full. If we are doing enterprise level, we don't need like around 200 administrators. We can reduce that number and reduce workplaces. So it helps you reduce uh, workload on administrators, because administrator job is very critical, and reduce and it helps maintaining the system and reduce uh, vulnerabilities chances and chance and increase security for our system. Components for Desktop Central. For we have lane or wing. For lane, we need a server, agents, database, web consoles, Active Directory. Servers. Our endpoint server is located in customer side, or it can be virtually on some like AWS or Azure's. Agents, which is end devices for employees or maybe customers or maybe users or guest users. We call them agents. They are Agents have lightweight software and applications installed on computers, which will be managed by using Endpoint Central. And Active Directory. In Active Directory, we have sites, domain, organization units, groups, commuters, users. And this is my logical view. So first thing will be server case. For this semester, we are using Microsoft Azure as a virtual machine, as a platform, which has 16 GB of RAM and operating system Windows 10 and Windows Server. And for instead virtual machines, we are using Hyper-V. And I have created a domain controller, domain server, SQL server, manage engine server, storage server, and two clients, which is PC1 and PC2. Domain server will control domain and manage it. SQL Server will hold a database information and the SQL script. Manage Engine will be providing all features of Manage Engine Central. Storage Server, which will have our file and data, and clients PC, which will be using our end features. This is my deployment view. So this is the core of my system, which is domain controller. So the main controller will have Windows Server 2019, Net Framework, and Manage Engine in it. The storage configuration is I'm using disk space of 15 GB and RAM 1 GB and processor 2.660 gigahertz. Even for storage server, there is 30 GB of RAM, 30 GB of storage, 1 GB RAM, and same processor. So I am having two PCs, two end devices, two network switches. One will be connected to the servers and the domain, and one switch will be connected to domain and two PCs. And this is also the diagram. This is a desktop central lane diagram. So here is my Active Directory, which has domain, and this is desktop central server. I have firewall for agents and internet connected to my database and web console. So system requirements for using endpoints, depending on our users. If we are using 1 to 250, it's different. 256 to 500, it is different. And 501 to 1000, it is different. So let's start with hardware requirements. If we are using 1 to 250 computers, for the server, we will need a processor iCore 3, which is leased, and we can go for 4 GB RAM, and hardware space, we need 5 GB. And for the endpoint agents, we need 1.6 gigahertz CPU, 500 MB of RAM, and 3 GB of storage. For network requirements, we need a network card and bandwidth. And for SQL Server, we need 4 GB of RAM and 5 GB of hard space. It's keep changing on number of users, as we can see. Operating systems which supported and required for our. The best part about Manage Central is it supports Windows OS, Windows Server, Mac OS, and Linux. So there is no difficulties jumping from one to other. I'm using Windows Server 2019 and Windows 10. Windows 10 for my agents and Windows Server 2019 Data Center for my servers. These are some of web server browsers which supported like Google Chrome, Firefox, Microsoft Explorer, and some database supported for SQL Manage Engine, which is I'm using SQL Server 2019. And how do we create our virtual machine? First, we go to create a new virtual machine. First thing, we go with default. Then we have to give a name for our virtual machine. Then we have to select a generation. I'm selecting generation 1 because it supports 32-bit and 64-bit guest operating system. Then we have to assign a RAM and memory, which in my case I'm giving 1 GB. I'm using network connection NSW01 for all my virtual machines, so it could be on one network. And then we have to allocate size of our size of hardware and the location where we need to save and everything. And then we have to select our image. We can use ISO image. In this case, I'm using my server image. We can change it to Windows image. And then second step is installing operating system on our hardware. So first thing, we have to select our operating system. I have selected Windows Server 2019 Data Center with desktop features. And then we have to accept the license and terms of Microsoft. And we have to select a type of installation. I'm using custom because it is first time I'm installing operating systems. So this is why I'm going with custom. After installing a Windows, the, we have to restart the Windows and it will be ready to go on. So, and if we need to create a domain controller, we need to add some features. To add some features, we have to go to Microsoft Server Manager, manage, add roles or remove roles. In my scenario, I'm going to add roles and features. Then first we will go with default. Then we have to select our installation type, which is in my case role-based feature installation. And server, we have to select server pool or virtual hard disk. I'm selecting server. And then we have to select Active Directory domain services for domain, creating a domain. And for features, group policy and management installed. And then we have how to create a domain. We have to press or prompt. Then we have to select add new forest, which is in my scenario barakat.com. And then we have to provide it with administrator level password, which is high complexity, and nobody should know this password other than the domain creator and holder. And this is we have to go with default. This is the path and review option. This is the path where it's saved and review options. After we creating a domain, we have to add users and groups in domain. So adding user and groups, we have to go Active Directory user and community. Press new, we can add users and groups. So there is groups and there is users. After that, this is a prompt screen for users, how to add users. We have to give first name, last name, full name, and everything. And this is for groups. Why we need groups? It is easier for administrator jobs to give permission to groups rather than giving to users by one. And how to change IP address as configuration, we have to select our adapter, which is Ethernet in my. Then we have to select adapter properties. We have to select our properties and select Internet Protocol version 4, which is IPv4. We will use static because we don't have DHCP servers actually. So we will use following IP address. This is my IP address. This is my default gateway, and I have to give as a DNS for my domain. So my domain should be connected. And how to add client to domain? First, we have to click on computer name. Then this page will appear. We have to press change. And we have to change. We can change our computer name, and we select domain, and we add domain name. And after that, our domain will ask our user and password, which we have to provide them. And how to install Manage Engine? We have two options, which one is cloud-based, and other one is permission on the system-based. So we have to select our operating system, and it will boot. So we have to assign a port for it. In my scenario, it is 8020. This is optional for technical support. And then I have selected my SQL server, which is 2019 server. We have to first step is we have to accept term and condition which is provided by Windows, Microsoft. And second step is installation. We have to give a location for it. And third step, it will give us information about our database SQL. And thank you for your time.